Hi everyone, how's it going? Today let's switch the subject to aircrafts, more specifically the Ki-84 Hayate, allied codename Frank. What a beautiful Japanese World War II aircraft. I always find it a quite interesting subject, but never get my hands on any of the available 7-second scale kits, until Arma Hobby released the new toolkit last year. I was eager to put my hands on it, especially after a full dossier made by Greg's Airplanes and Automobiles channel. I left a link on the description. But anyway, I wish to start building it earlier, as the first project of my channel, but long story short...
Alan Watson.
A small step back prevented me to do so, but now it's time. This video will be the review of this kit, so if you want to check my impressions of it, just stay tuned. Okay, starting from the box, not quite sturdy, but with a beautiful box art and high printing quality. On the back side you can see the 6 provided marking options profiles. Hard to choose between them, which already itches my mother conscience to build more than one. The kit comes in grey plastic with an almost matte finish, a bit different from the usual semi-gloss grey. One big plastic tree holds all the parts, not counting the clear ones of course. Let's take a closer look on the main features, starting from the wing's underside part. As you can see, both wings come in the same part, which helps a lot to keep the right wings dihedral. Besides, there are a lot of details with high definition engraved panel lines. I highlighted some of these features that I could cross-reference with some blueprints and pictures. Flipping this part, you can see what I think may be some guiding elements and structural reinforcements, but I'm not quite sure as it will be hidden after assembly. The wheel well have some internal structures detail, better than most World War II kits in my opinion, but lacks some hydraulic lines and other wiring. The wing's upper side part is also only one part, which should make assembly much easier. The same level of details can be seen on the fuselage halves. The majority of the panel lines and hatches can be found on the reference material. Only 1 or 2 lines are not quite there, but their presence is debatable if you compare pictures and blueprints. On the inside of the fuselage halves there are the cockpit walls. Not the best interior out there, but certainly above average in terms of details. As you can see, there is a decent amount of rivets and fasteners depicting the most prominent panels around the engine and wings. But for my personal tastes, I think I'll have to add more. The cockpit floor is also quite nice and above average, but if you want to make it more realistic, some wires must be added. Now back to the plastic tree and smaller parts. The same level of details can be seen in most of the parts. Mold lines and flash are almost inexistent and easy to fix. The cockpit parts also have separate controls and levers, which adds a lot to the kit realism. There are a few differences between marking options, so different parts are also provided, like this upper fuselage part that fits over the cockpit area. So be careful to use the right part after you decide which marks you're going to make. The Homari 4521 engine comes in 6 plastic parts and 1 PE part, depicting all cylinders, push rods, fluid lines and crankcase. The wheels are quite simple, with a slick tire. Arma molded it with a weighted appearance, which is a nice touch, but they also have a very visible mold line, so some work must be done there. Engine exhausts are also quite simple, but more on that later. The main gear covers have a bit thick edges, which is probably too hard to fix without ruining the details on the inner side, but on the other hand they have the curvature like the real one, so I guess it's good enough for this scale. The nose part has the carburetor air duct, but lacks the divider in the middle of the intake. The cowl flaps come in separate parts, well detailed, but a bit thick, so some sanding to make them look thinner is required. The kit also comes with some ordnance options, including 2 drop tanks, 2 100 kg bombs and 1 250 kg bomb, I guess for the kamikaze variant. The cockpit control panel looks quite simple, but after adding the provided decals with all gauges, will probably look very nice. The Age of 5 cannons, well, they are just too simple. The seat is also very simplified and doesn't really match quite well with all the other details in the cockpit. A small PE sheet is provided in this expert set with some interior features, engine fluid lines and the grille for the oil cooler. Masks for clear parts and wheels made from kabuki are also provided. The clear parts are excellent, well injected, crystal clear and also good thickness for this scale. The Deco Sheet is printed by TechMod and show a quite good definition. You can identify the katakana and kanji characters on some of the decals. And interestingly, there are two control panel decals with nice printed gauges, so you will have a second chance if you screw up the first attempt. The instructions are also well printed in a semi-gloss brochure, presenting instructions both in English and Polish. There are brief text about the Ki-84 and a color chart for many paint brands. The instructions are quite easy to follow, despite the unusual arrangement of each step. And also there are some warnings regarding different build options depending on the markings you want to make. As I said earlier, there are 6 marking options for this kit, all very beautiful and interesting in my opinion. For each marking there are profiles from right, left, downwards and upwards views. This Japanese Home Defense Force painting is my choice for this project. Okay, now some aftermarket that I bought after checking the ups and downs of this kit. I have 3D parts for exhaust, wheels and seat from Brassin, brass pitot tube from Fine Molds and Age of 5 cannons from Mini World. One interesting feature here is that these brass cannons come with a conical muzzle brake, which is not very commonly seen in historical pictures of the Hayate, so I will have to cut them. Now let's check the wheels. The 3D printed are much more detailed at first glance, but after looking some pictures, despite tire grooves seemed accurate, its sections may be too round compared to the real ones. On the other hand, the plastic wheel hub seems more accurate and the weight effect also looks more natural, but the tire section is almost squared and there are no grooves. So both have ups and downs, but in the end the scale tipped towards the 3D printed. The 3D printed exhaust also looks way much better than the plastic ones. However, there is a small flaw on its design that are correct on the kit's parts. The upper exhaust pipes on the left side consist of 2 pipes side by side, and they are correct both on the plastic and the 3D printed. However, on the right side, the upper exhaust pipes combines 2 cylinders exhaust in 1 pipe, which is accurate on the plastic part and wrong on the 3D printed, depicting also 2 pipes, basically just a mirror from the left side. Nothing fancy to fix or that makes the plastic parts better, but keep in mind that the 3D isn't perfect and needs some modification. Now the seat. Undebatable, the 3D is far superior and super detailed compared to the plastic one. Placing both parts side by side is almost an unfair comparison, but it was crucial to raise some remarks. They almost look like from different scales, don't you think? Is the kit seat much smaller or is the 3D printed much bigger? Looking at the reference, the 3D seems more at the right size, but how it is going to fit inside the cockpit? Well, don't miss the next chapters to find it out. Well, anyway, the 3D seat also comes with a pre-painted PE seat belts. And as reference material, I borrowed this aero detail book from a fellow modder. Excellent book, by the way, going through all the details of the Ki-84 with tons of pictures and blueprints. Okay, time to wrap up this review. Here is the inbox score for this Arma Hobby Expert Set Ki-84 Hayate in 7-second scale. The kit seems great, with excellent scores in almost every aspect. Almost no flash and seam lines, the details definition is also great. The only features that don't correspond to the overall kit quality are the guns and the seat, that really fall short. The exhaust, despite correct in terms of number and combination of pipes, lack definition and don't have an open end, also received a middle score. Yes, you can try to drill some holes in it, but the area to do that in each pipe is super small, and the odds will probably work against you. The Brassin 3D printed exhaust, on the other hand, despite a bit wrong, is easier to fix the pipe's arrangement on the right side of the fuselage. The inbox score is 4.3 out of 5. Borat is definitely happy to put his hands on this kit, and I'm eager to start building it. Unfortunately not today, but I hope the assembling video will be posted in the next weeks. Until there, many thanks for watching this video and become a subscriber if you haven't done yet. See you next time. Cheers!